It all started as a nagging sensation, an icy whisper at the nape of my neck warning me that something was off. I had always taken pride in being a trusting husband, someone who believed in the sanctity of our vows. But over the past few months, small changes had begun to surface, changes I couldn't just brush aside. Emily, my wife of a decade, had become distant. Her phone was practically an extension of her hand, her laughter directed at messages she refused to share. Late nights at work became more frequent, and out of nowhere, she started paying meticulous attention to her appearance. She insisted it was for her, a way to boost her confidence, but it didn't feel that way. I wanted to trust her, to believe her words, but doubt gnawed at me. I told myself I was overthinking it, that I was letting paranoia get the best of me. But then I found the receipt. It was for a pricey dinner at a restaurant we had never set foot in. A cozy, dimly lit place downtown known for its romantic ambience, and as a popular spot for proposals. The crumpled slip was buried at the bottom of her purse, hidden beneath an old lip balm and a half-eaten granola bar. When I confronted her, she hesitated. A flimsy excuse about a work meeting stumbled out of her mouth, her gaze flickering to the floor like a child caught in a lie. A work meeting, right? I could have lost my temper right then, demanded the truth, but a voice inside me urged patience. If I pushed too soon, she would deny everything, and I'd be left feeling like a fool. So I waited. I watched. I gathered my proof. Like any man in my position, I became an investigator. Started with her phone. She was careful, always angling the screen away from me, growing more protective of it. But I was patient. Before long, a familiar number appeared over and over again. Texts at all hours. Simple messages like, "Can't wait to see you," and "Missed you today." Each one sent a sickening churn through my stomach. The contact name read Jenna, but I wasn't an idiot. Jenna wouldn't send messages like that. One evening, while she was in the shower, I finally did it. My hands trembled as I picked up her phone and entered the passcode I had memorized weeks ago. I scrolled through her messages, and there it was, clear as day. Ryan. Ryan with his effortless charm, his smooth compliments. "I love the way you laugh. When can I see you again?" But it was Emily's replies that truly shattered me. She told him she missed him, that he made her feel alive, that she was counting down the days until their next lunch meeting. I could have confronted her right then, barged into the bathroom and demanded answers. But I didn't. Confrontation wasn't enough. I didn't just want the truth. I wanted her to feel the same agony she had inflicted on me. I wanted her world to collapse the way she had dismantled mine. So I waited. I planned. The perfect moment arrived sooner than I anticipated. For weeks, Emily had been consumed by an important project at her marketing firm, something she had been bragging about endlessly. A major client, a fresh startup eager to make waves, was her ticket to professional recognition. She had been anxiously preparing for a crucial presentation at their downtown office, a pitch she had been working on for days. That morning, as she got ready, I played my part perfectly. I kissed her goodbye and wished her luck, my lips grazing her cheek as she smiled at me. I wondered if she kissed Ryan the same way. And the moment the door closed behind her, I set my plan into motion. Without hesitation, arranging the delivery was simple. A quick visit to a florist followed by a stop at a print shop. And by midday, I had everything I needed. Sitting in my car outside the client's office, I watched through the large windows as Emily took center stage, exuding confidence in her sleek black dress. She looked every bit the polished professional, the dedicated wife. My jaw tightened at the thought of the deception she had spun to get here. When the delivery driver arrived, I handed him the package along with the address. "Make sure this goes directly to Emily Thompson," I instructed. "She's expecting it," except she wasn't. Not in the slightest. I remained in my car, watching intently as the driver walked inside, the package in hand. Barely 10 minutes passed before everything unraveled. Through the glass, I saw the exact moment Emily's world came crashing down. She froze mid-sentence as the box was placed in front of her, a polite, unsuspecting smile playing on her lips as she lifted the lid, likely anticipating flowers or some congratulatory token. Instead, She was met with printed screenshots of her messages with Ryan, every illicit exchange laid bare. Atop the pile sat a handwritten note. "You're not as smart as you think you are." Silence engulfed the room. Color drained from Emily's face, her hands trembling as she flipped through the damning pages. Around her, the client team, all sharply dressed men, exchanged confused glances before turning their attention to her. Though I couldn't hear what was being said, the panic in her expression spoke volumes. She scrambled to explain, desperate to salvage her presentation, but the damage had already been done. And then there was Ryan. I had done my research on him as well. He wasn't just some faceless fling. He was a coworker, a smooth-talking account manager with a wife and 2 children waiting for him at home. I had uncovered everything. His address, his social media profiles, even the school his kids attended. I wrestled with the idea of involving his family, but ultimately chose a more direct path. Following Emily's disastrous presentation, I tailed her to a nearby coffee shop, their usual meeting spot, though she had no idea I was there, seated inconspicuously in the back as she anxiously waited for him. Minutes later, Ryan arrived and slid into the chair across from her. Their conversation was hushed, Emily's hands fluttering in distress as she struggled to explain what had happened. Ryan's face darkened as the gravity of the situation sank in. That's when I made my move. "Ryan, isn't it?" My voice cut through the air as I stepped up to their table. His head snapped up, his expression morphing from confusion to realization to fear in mere seconds. Across from him, Emily paled, her lips parting soundlessly as if searching for words that wouldn't come. "Who the hell are you?" Ryan demanded, though there was no real conviction behind his words. I placed a stack of photographs onto the table, images of them entering hotels, leaving bars together, laughing in his car. "I'm the husband," I said. "The one you've both been lying to. The one you've been betraying while you played house with my wife." Ryan visibly paled. Emily reached for my arm, tears spilling down her face. "David, please, let's talk about this at home." I yanked my arm away. "Oh, we'll talk," I assured her. "But first, I think Ryan needs to answer some questions." I turned back to him. "You see, I've already sent copies of these photos to your wife and to HR. I figured your employer should know the kind of man they have on payroll." Panic gripped him. You can't do that," he stammered. "You'll destroy me." I leaned in, my voice steady. "You did that to yourself. Both of you did. Did you really think you could tear apart lives without facing the consequences?" Emily dissolved into sobs, burying her face in her hands, while Ryan sat paralyzed, his mind undoubtedly racing through the fallout that awaited him. I turned to leave, but not before delivering one final blow. "Oh, and Emily," I glanced over my shoulder. "Don't bother coming home. The locks are changed, your things are in storage, and I've already spoken to a lawyer. Good luck explaining this to your parents." Her cries followed me out the door, but I didn't look back. For the first time in months, I felt something I thought I'd lost: freedom. In the weeks that followed, Emily tried to reach out. She flooded my phone with apologies, explanations, desperate pleas to make things right. I ignored every one of them. Ryan's wife wasted no time filing for divorce, and after HR investigated the evidence I provided, he lost his job. As for me, I focused on rebuilding one step at a time. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. They had made their choices, and now they had to live with them. And me? I was finally free to live with mine.